The combined course is really good because it literally mirrors both the best parts of both disciplines of English in a single subject. So if you're looking at blocks and you're thinking, I want to do language and literature, but I also want to do other subjects and it doesn't fit, it's a good way of getting the great disciplines of both fitting into one. As with all A-levels, it consists of 2 exams worth 80% and a coursework worth 20%. In your first paper, we study The Lovely Bones, an anthology of Paris texts, and the poetry of Caroline Duffy. So it gives you a good mixture of the 3 disciplines of poetry, prose, and general multimedia texts. Now, the linguistic part of language and literature comes in the poetry anthology, the Paris anthology, because what you get is plenty of texts based around the topic of Paris. So we have online texts, we have older texts, we have reviews, we have TripAdvisors, and very much in terms of like all different writing on Paris. And what you do is we teach you lots of linguistic frameworks to analyse this. The second part is more of a literature approach, and that's looking at The Lovely Bones by Alice Sebold. So within this, we'll read the text, and it goes through the key theme of imagined worlds. So if anyone's ever read The Lovely Bones, it's spoken from a dead, non-diegetic narrator, and it's basically spoken from heaven. Basically, she's telling the story from heaven. So that's your other world. So we explore characters, we explore themes, and things like that. So that's very much like a standard literature question that you would have got at GCSE. For your third one, we explore the poetry of Caroline Duffy, where we explore an anthology of poems, and we explore how Duffy creates meanings and how she expresses those desires and those ideals of what it is to be growing up, being reflective, being a woman in a predominantly male-dominated society, and the issues surrounding that. That one is a comparative question, but again, you just write about one poem and then the other. You don't actually have to compare, as a lot of you will have done at GCSE. In paper 2, we study 2 texts. We study The Great Gatsby and A Streetcar Named Desire. However, we don't study The Great Gatsby in the way that you would a normal literature text. This is where your creative writing comes in, because what we do is we study The Great Gatsby, key themes and ideas, but for your exam, you have to recast or rewrite a part of that as being a part of a character or a theme or something that hasn't happened. You then use your skills that you learned from paper 1 with the Paris anthology to then analyse your own writing about what you've done, and then you link that in to key themes and ideas within the novel. The Streetcar Named Desire, which again is a great play, is very similar to the Lovely Bones question, and it's a standard literature type question. So you will explore themes, characters, and ideas, and then just write about that. As it is based around a lot of plays, we do go to see plays. So we've been to see an immersive version of The Great Gatsby. We've been to see Streetcar Named Desire. There's a play of The Lovely Bones, which has gone on, so we go with that. And we're also very fortunate to have links with Hull University and other universities for wider reading, wider links, and the more academic university lectures. Alongside this, 20% of the exam is coursework. Now, this is an investigation, and for this we study the novel John Fowles' The Collector. And then what we do is we compare a theme in The Collector with a non-media piece. So it can be an article, it could be a journal, whatever you fancy. So, for example, The Collector is basically about kidnap. So we've had students do articles on kidnap, articles on things called Stockholm Syndrome, anything like that. And you compare and contrast as you go through. Now that is really good for anybody wanting to do English at university, because it's very academic, involves a lot of wider reading and reviews, and really does teach you the skills that you will need to get on further into university. It's a very popular course. We have a lot of students maintain it from AS to A2, and also we have excellent results in it. It's been ALPS 2 or ALPS 3, which is outstanding for the last 4 or 5 years. So many of our students achieve above target, and nationally we are a lot better than similar schools and nationwide schools. So if you want the combined one, gives you the best of both, Again, it's very good for things like journalism, law, anything that requires like an academic rigour and a synthesis of materials. That would be great for you. And we'd love to have you on the course, and we'd love to see you.